Welcome back everyone, it's Eric from Rare Candy here. Today we are back with a very spooky Halloween special deck, and that is going to be Gengar. We're going to be trying out here in some games on PTCGO today. So the Gengar, it came out all the way back in Unbroken Bonds, I think it was. As one of those cards, we actually mentioned in our set review, I kind of want to get around to trying it out, and just kind of always fell by the wayside, never got around to messing with it. So that's what we're going to be experimenting with here today. There was a deck that did well, or like somewhat well, at I think it was a European event not too long ago, that played Spirit Tomb, and the Gengar wasn't really a main attacker. So we're saying, you know, screw that. We're going to go all in on Gengar and see what we can make work with our boy Gengar here. And also, to you guys, just a quick shout actually to our newest sponsor, PTCGOstore.com. I will have a graphic somewhere on the screen, so if you guys do want some PTCGO codes, including the new Cosmic Eclipse codes, if you guys use the coupon code RARECANDY over there, you'll save 5%, and our patrons actually save 7.5%. So I will have a link down below in the description if you guys want to check out the link to their store. They've been nice enough to help us out lately in terms of codes. But yeah, so let's take a look at this deck we're going to be messing around with here. So we have a 4-3-4 Gengar line. That might look a little bit weird. I think typically, especially in today's format, you're only going to play usually 2 of the stage 1s and a stage 2 line at most. But the Ghastly is actually really cool that we have here. Has this ability, Swelling Spite, whenever this Pokemon is knocked out. Search your deck for up to 2 Haunter and put them straight onto your bench. So this is really cool if our Ghastly does get knocked out, you know, very early on. It's not really going to set us back. It actually kind of helps us out in a way. So this is definitely going to be our preferred Ghastly here. Very nice. Of course, from there we have 3 Haunter. Nothing too special, but we want at least 3 just because if the Ghastly gets knocked out and we prized one, or we already have a Haunter in hand, we still want to be able to get the 2 Haunters out of our deck. And more than likely, we're not going to need more than, you know, 1 of this effect in a game. You know, maybe we'll get 2 Ghastlies knocked out. I don't know. But I think at most we're going to be losing 1, and then hopefully on the next turn we can, you know, start attacking with Gengar instead. And then of course, Gengar, our main attacker here, it's a stage 2 Pokemon. Like I said, came out back in Unbroken Bonds. 130 HP, free retreat, which is actually really nice. And it has this ability, whenever you play this Pokemon from your hand, to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn. You may put 6 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon GX and the EX in any way that you like. So just a spread 6 just for evolving is really good, I think. And of course, you know, we play Spell Tag in this list as well, so we're going to try to spread a ton of damage with this deck. And of course, we do have an attack on Gengar as well for 3 colors. Energy is 70. Your opponent's active is now Sleep and Poison, so effectively 80 damage. So unfortunately, the damage output on Gengar isn't that great, which is why we probably won't see it, you know, do too well competitively as a main attacker. But nevertheless, you know, between our spell tags, we have some ways to kind of creep up there and do a pretty good amount of damage with this thing. Especially if our opponent can stay asleep, you know, we're going to be in a good spot as well. So yeah, we're going all in with Gengar here. Let's take a look at what else we have. We have 3 copies of Jirachi here. So of course, just for that Stellar Wish ability, it's going to help us find rare candies, spell tags, things like that. You guys know the drill. Jirachi's a pretty solid card that's been in the game for some time now. We have 2 copies of Hoopa. We are not going to lose to Malamar. We are determined to at least try, at least. So we're going all in with the 2 copies of Hoopa just to make our Malamar matchup a little bit better. So Evil Admonition, 10 plus 20 more for each of your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability. So if they have a Guillotine in play and 2 Malamar, we're going to be one-shotting their Guillotines with Evil Admonition. Evil Admonition, surprisingly decent in other scenarios as well, just because a lot of decks right now play abilities like Mewtwo Mew, Pikarom, etc. So Evil Admonition, actually a kind of decent attack that winds up being okay against a number of different things. Then from there we have 1 copy of Mew as well. So of course for that bench barrier ability, it's going to stop things like Venom Shot, Tag Bolt GX, etc. Just to try to keep our bench Pokemon safe. Side Power also not too bad. Just another spread 3. Has some synergy with Gengar with Spell Tag as well. So going on from there, we have our supporters. We have 4 copies of Lily. Going to be our ideal turn 1 supporter, as you guys can probably imagine. Draw until we have 6, or draw until we have 8 if it's our first turn. We have 3 copies of Cynthia just for a nice shuffle and draw 6. And then we have 3 copies of Welder, which looks really weird, but we are playing the Welder engine for this deck. Gengar does luckily have a 3 colorless energy attack cost, which means we have a lot of flexibility in terms of how we want to power this thing up. So we are going in with Welder on this one. I guess you could play Malamar in this as well if you really want to. But if you're playing Malamar, you know, just play normal Psychic Malamar. I don't think playing Gengar in Malamar really helps the archetype. So instead, we're just going to go for Welder here instead. We can draw some cards in the process while powering up our Gengars. And let's see, we have 2 copies of Giant Hearth, as you guys would probably imagine, just to get some fire energies out of the deck when we need them. We have 2 copies of Switch, 2 copies of a Skateboard. Pretty, expected split of switching options since we played the Jirachi. Of course, the Skateboard is going to allow us to retreat even through Jirachi's sleep condition that he puts on himself there. We have 3 copies of Rare Candy, so a little bit lower than some decks, but of course we have the Ghastly and the 3 Haunters, so that's going to be kind of a different way we can get our stage 2s out. So between Rare Candy and Haunters, we have essentially 6 slots in our deck committed to evolving through up into Gengar. So 3 candies should be fine, assuming you lose 1 Ghastly early on in the game. 3 copies of Mysterious Treasure, and then 3 copies of Pokemon Communication as well, so just going for a nice split between both of these. Treasure, of course, very good at searching out our Gengar line and Mew. We just discard a card from our hand, search your deck for a Psychic or Dragon Pokemon. And then Pokemon Communication, a little bit more flexible. It allows us to get those Hoopas, those Jirachis. Maybe you could switch this from a 3rd Communication to a 4th Treasure. I think that's also okay. But Communication seems fine since it can search anything, and we have, effectively 5 spots in our deck that can't be searched out with Treasure. Let's see there. 2 copies of Fire Crystal just to get some fire energy back in our hand to make sure we can use Welder whenever we need them. Then from there, looks like we have 4 copies of Spell Tag. Of course, it's going to be another way we can spread damage with Gengar. So when our Psychic Pokemon that has Spell Tag attached to it gets knocked out, you get spread 4 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way that you like. So it's pretty cool because you can actually throw this down on Ghastly even, sacrifice Ghastly, spread 4 damage counters, and also get 2 Haunters into play as well. So, Spell Tag definitely pretty good here. Then from there, 4 copies of Triple Acceleration Energy and 8 copies of Fire Energy. So triple, of course, we can just slam this thing down right away on Gengar and get off an attack. So on the turns we don't have Welder, triple is going to be a little bit better. But of course, we do need a good bit of Fire Energy to be able to use with Welder. So that's going to be the list we're trying out, guys. I would like to find space for like Power Plant or Shrine of Punishment. I think both those actually are really good. Power Plant specifically is going to be good at shutting off Jirachi GX to be able to hit Mewtwo Mew for weakness. So maybe you could cut a Hoopa for that, maybe. I'm not sure. Either way, like I said, guys, it's not a super competitive deck, so I'm not going to put, too many hours into this compared to some of our more competitive decks, but this should be a fun little list to get in some games with. So I'm going to quit rambling. Let's hop into some games and we'll see how Gengar looks in action, okay? Alright, so Gamma Phoenix, 1991. Going to call the coin flip here. Got trusty old Charizard coins, so this very well could be Reshizard or something like that. Since this isn't like with Cosmic Eclipse in the mix, we still have a lot of the Unified Minds decks looming around. We do have Hoopa. Not a very good starter, unfortunately. Probably the worst starter in the deck, actually. But depending on what we're playing against, we might still be able to at least get in some decent chip damage on our next turn. So we are going to see Volk, so this could be greens. Green's Reshizard typically has a higher odds of starting with this, so. Okay, so this still could be greens. No sign of Jirachi, no sign of like Vulpix, Ninetales. Okay, going for Power Plant, so yeah, this must be the greens version. If that is the case. So, we are just going to Communication Gengar back into deck. Going for our boy Ghastly here. And we did prize a Ghastly, it looks like. Have all of our Haunters, all of our Gengars, that is good. Hoopa is going to be absolutely trash in this matchup. Though I guess, was it Mind Shock? Might be decent at some point. Prized a Candy. Prized a Welder. Have all of our triples, all of our spell attacks. So nothing like too game breaking is going to be prized here. Oh no, we had 2 Welders in hand. Sorry, I thought we only had the 1. So we could Treasure, getting rid of a Welder to get down to the Ghastly, but I think I'm fine just having the 1 down. If it does get like custom catchered up, then we can just get 2 Haunters. But we drew into 2 Haunters. Come on, deck. What are you doing to me here? So if we put down Jirachi, we become a custom catcher target. But if our opponent Yeah, I think I actually just want to save our... I think I want our opponent to have to deal with what we have on board. I don't want to really give them the option of knocking out our Jirachi. Because we have a supporter, so we don't really need the Jirachi to find a supporter on our next turn. But here, opponent's going to play Lily. Interesting. So is this greens, if that's the case? Because normally greens decks do not play Lily. I mean, they are playing... Everything else definitely looks very indicative of a, like, greens Reshizard. Or maybe they just play the one. You never know. So, yet again, another Acrobike. Getting rid of a switch. So, what, did they play all 4 Acrobikes this turn? Getting rid of a Fire Energy. So we're just going to see High Heat Blast. That's fine with me. That is going to buy us a turn here. And... Like, we could put down our own Giant Hearth, but realistically, do we want to put that down? I don't think so. So I think we just... Sure, put down Jirachi since we're going to Cynthia. We don't know if we're going to have a supporter or not on this next turn. Do we put down a Fire Energy just to thin it out of deck? I don't think the 10 damage really matters too much against this. Sure, it might make our spell tag math a little bit work out a little better. We might be able to use more of it to put on a Reshizard as a result. Okay, that's pretty good here. It's pretty good. So I definitely do want to switch and use a Skateboard this turn. Just because we don't want Jirachi to get custom catchered up if we don't have a supporter in hand. And so we do get Lily, and we do get Welder. Welder's only going to get us 1 energy down. If we had 2 energy in hand, I would actually get the Welder, but since that's not the case, we're just going to go for the Lily instead. So we're actually just going to retreat, sacrifice the Ghastly, and then from there, next turn, hopefully we can find ourselves triple acceleration energy and start putting on some pressure of our own here. So they're playing Communication as well. Okay, so this is going to be Ability Reshi if they're playing the Ninetales, but everything so far kind of looked like greens. Like they have the Power Plants. They started Volk. No Pokemon with abilities in play either. So actually kind of glad we are getting down the Ghastly right now. Just because once this Ninetales comes up, it can play around these Ghastlies a little bit easier. So I'm just going to grab a Giant Hearth and Pokemon Communication. I actually don't mind them ever putting down the Giant Hearth. Just because that is going to help our own Welders. But here they're going to go for the High Heat Blast. That's awesome. So we... I think I actually kind of just want to dump all of this damage on Reshizard if possible. Because they can't one-shot us with Volk. And we do hit triple. That's actually huge. So yeah, we just do that. We're going to, yes, spread 6 damage counters. So we haven't even attacked yet, and we're already got 100 damage down on this Reshizard, which feels nice. And we'll just Lily. And hopefully get a spell tag after our Stellar Wish as well here. And we do get it. Do we have a supporter? We do not. But that is okay with me, because we still have Jirachi in play right now. So we can do this. And yeah, I think we actually will evolve here as well. So yeah, putting a ton of pressure onto this Reshizard, and like I said, we haven't even had to attack it yet either. So we'll do this. And I think I actually will get down this Jirachi, just in case they try to pick off our own Jirachi here. And Twilight Poison. And they do stay asleep, so that's actually a really good turn we just had here. Pretty busted. So right now, but they're at 180 or 160, so we have to do 110 to Reshizard still. It actually works out pretty well with the math with Spell Tag and Twilight Poison. But Heatran, that will definitely be pretty good for our opponent here. So let's see, if we get another Gengar into play, that's 6 damage counters on Heatran, puts it down to 130, 80 damage with the ability Spell Tag and 1 attack. I think we're still going to be a little bit short of taking a knockout on this Heatran. So, yeah, I think our path to victory right now, guys, we use Spell Tag damage to pick off Volcanion, Reshizard, and the Heatran GX. So those are our knockouts that we're going to have to get here. Or maybe potentially even Turn Air if they pivot into that. So for Spell Tag damage, I think we're going to put it on... So for Reshizard, let's just think. If we do 4 damage counters, that's 200. So we can actually do 3. Because that's 190 plus the 80 from the poison damage with Spell Tag and all that. So then from there, I think we put 1 damage counter on the Heatran, I guess. So that seems pretty good. Now, the big thing is this turn we really are going to need Welder or Triple Acceleration Energy. Hey, we did get that. That's awesome. So let's see. We have no Fire Energy in discard yet. So we're going to Giant Hearth, thin some cards out of our deck here. I think we'll just discard the Fire here. We have not played any Fire Crystals either. We do have 1 prize. That's something to keep in mind. So we definitely are going to want a Rare Candy and a Spell Tag this turn. I think that's what we want to see. And our opponent actually has... Oh, they only have 1 Pokemon with abilities in play. Otherwise, I would say we could actually start attacking with Hoopa. So, yeah, we'll just Stellar Wish here. And we do get Spell Tag. That is certainly good. So we will do that. And I think we're just going to retreat. And we have not used a Rare Candy yet. So I think I actually don't want to get Haunter and evolve this Ghastly, because then they could pick it off at Ninetales. I kind of want to just wait until they either knock it out, or if we get Candy, that way we can just treasure and go for it. Alright, so let's see. Does our opponent stay asleep? No, we did not get quite that lucky. But normally the ability Reshizard decks, they usually play a decent amount of switching options anyway, so I wasn't really counting on it super hard for them to stay asleep here. But nevertheless, the poison damage here actually might be a little bit relevant. We'll have to see. So they are going to evolve into Ninetales. That's good. That actually helps our Hoopa out if we do want to start attacking with that at some point as well. And here they're going to bring up our Jirachi. So right now if we swing on this Heatran, that's going to be what, 50? Then another 10 in between turns. So we're still going to be a little short of taking a knockout on this Heatran. So how many switching options? We've gone through 1 of each. And here you're just going to retreat into Volcanion, take a knockout there. I'm actually fine with that because we can still take a knockout with our Hoopa if that's the case. And we can save our Gengar in the process. And they're going to reset stamp us. I don't mind that. Our hand wasn't very good. This hand also not very good either, but though we did get a spell tag that is definitely a little bit better. So if this is the case, yeah, I think we just actually promote the Hoopa and just start attacking because we don't have a switching option for Jirachi here. Alright, so yeah, we'll just promote this guy. And we do get treasure. That's okay as well. I think we just start attaching a little bit preemptively here. We'll get down spell tag. And, sure, we can get rid of... Yeah, we'll get rid of fire energy here. So we're out of fire energy. We do have a crystal in deck. So we have 4 energies to play with until we can find our other fire crystal out of prizes as well. But yeah, hopefully between this prize and our top deck, we can kind of coast along a little bit. So we're going to get Ghastly. Unfortunately, not a great prize in this situation, because our opponent already has 3 prizes kind of mapped out on their board right here. So maybe we should have even evolved into Haunter here. I'm not sure. Your opponent is going to start going in with Turtonator, it appears. Going for... Oh my god, if they hit heads on Super Scoop Up. Oh my god. Oh, guys. I think that like might be game over, them healing off all the damage on the Reshizar. That was definitely I think our big out to winning here. Yeah, that's so much damage that's just wiped from the board. So here, are they going to bring up Jirachi? Okay, that looks like what they are going to do, but at the same time, we can still put on some pressure with what we have right now. So Explosive Jet, the one good thing about this is that they do have to commit a decent amount of energy for every knockout that they want to get, because they're having to burn 2 to bring up something with Ninetales, and they have to discard several to take a knockout with Turtonator as well. So I'll promote the Gengar, has free retreat. We need Welder here. Not quite what we wanted, unfortunately. Yeah, that feels bad. Yeah, I think our opponent getting the Super Scoop Up heads might have like completely sealed the deal for them at this point. Yeah, it all just feels kind of bad right now for the situation that we're in. I mean, we could go for Mew, but even still, it's... Because at least with Mew, they have to discard 2 energy, whereas with... Yeah, maybe we'll just do that. That's fine. Well, but if we attach to Mew, then we actually are still going to be an attachment behind from attacking with Gengar. And they've not burned their GX attack either. So... I think we need some luck no matter what at this point, so we're just going to go in with this. I want them to need an additional energy, whereas with the Hoopa, they only need 1 single energy to get where they need to go. So we're just going to Psi Power. We're just going to do all of our damage over here on the Heatran. And hopefully our opponent does not have a Welder for this turn. That's really just the big thing I'm kind of counting on. Oh, they've only used 1 Welder. Oh yeah, they're definitely going to Welder this turn. So it's either going to get rid of Ninetales. Like, with a hand that big and only 8 cards in deck, there's no way they don't have it. And with Pokegear, yeah. Yeah, we would have needed some insane prizing or something to happen for them to whip that, I think. Like, we would have needed it to be their last card in deck and their other remaining 2 prizes to be Welders. So yeah, now at this point they can actually just go in with Reshizard and they should be able to win from there. And so they are just going to attack with Turtonator. If that's the case, I don't hate that. This card, just because they do have to burn a decent amount of energy. This is one of those situations where if if we had Reset Stamp in this deck, that'd actually be good in a situation like this. But you guys know the drill with Stage 2s. A lot of times it's hard to fit stuff like that in here. But yeah, we're going to see Explosive Jet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like all she wrote. All our opponent has to do is just attack with, like, bring up Hoopa, and then use Heatran's GX tactic and win. So, I think we're basically done here. And, okay, so, yeah, we'll evolve into Gengar. That's fine. Sure, we'll put all of that on Heatran, and we're going to be, what, 10 damage short, right? Because I think they had 120 when we first started this. So yeah, just short of a knockout there. And we're just going to pass. But again, I'm pretty sure our opponent has. They've only played 2 Welders, guys. They can just Welder down and discard all the energy. Or just discard 2 energy from hand and switch into Heatran, and they should have game either way. But we'll play it out. We'll see what happens. Maybe our opponent will misplay. You never know. Here they're just going to attach. Oh, and just a pass. Interesting. Okay. So we're going to treasure away a treasure. We can grab ourselves a Ghastly. I think it's safe actually probably to bench it just because we're at a spot in the game where Ninetales will actually be able to take a knockout on not Heatran, but Hoopa or the Ghastly no matter what. So we'll do that. And Twilight Poison. Hopefully our opponent stays asleep. That's like our only hope. Fingers crossed. What do we get? What happens? Oh man, and they do get the heads. That's a bummer. So yeah, they can just actually just attach and then win from there. Yeah, they've gone through, what, 10 energy, 11, 12, 13. They've played 3 Fire Crystals. I don't know, maybe they are out of energy. That would actually be pretty bad for us if that was the case. But we're going to see the Escape Word. And do they have 2 energy in hand? I am so confused about what's going on. Is our opponent, like, out of something in their deck that's like a crucial resource? We get the victory screen. Guys, I have no idea what happened there. Like, I feel like we should have lost that. But hey, I'm down to take it. All right, so let's call the coin flip. Are going to lose it. Definitely not too fun, but it happens sometimes. Hopefully we can at least start with Ghastly or something like that. That way, on our opponent's following turn, we can just get knocked out and get some Gengars, or I'm sorry, Haunters into play. So our opponent is faced with the difficult task of deciding who's going to go first, it appears. They seem pretty conflicted. But yeah, our opponent's going to decide to go first. Makes sense. And so this might be a Mew. We see the deck box, see the sleeves, coin. Probably a safe assumption. We do have Hoopa as a starter, which might not be awful if this is a Mew deck. And we are going to get a mulligan at least. Okay, yeah, so this is definitely going to be Mew. We see the Greninja GX, Giant Hearth Welders, all that stuff. So Jirachi GX is going to be certainly a nuisance for us here, because they will be able to shut off their weakness for Mewtwo. And suddenly this hand became substantially less playable. Starting to Dene and having to discard their hand is really good though. So at the very least we can soften up this Dedenne a little bit. And we're going to have to play down our hand a good bit here somehow on this next turn. We can definitely attach, we can Giant Hearth, discard. Oh, and they're going to reset stamp us, thank God. I mean, this hand really isn't very good either, I hate to say. So they're going to get down an attachment, and they're going to switch. I'm fine with that if they want to, because that means we can actually swing on this Mewtwo Mew here right away. So Greninja GX is actually going to be a pain for us because of Haze Slash. So we'll definitely attach the spell tag down there. We can Giant Hearth. I think I actually might just... Sure, we'll get rid of one of our Jirachis here. Basically, I don't want to play down Jirachi just because they can actually snipe it with the Naganadel or even the GX attack on the Greninja GX. So... And I don't want to Welder here. See, right now I'm hitting for 70. That's good enough, so I think we'll just... That's tricky. Yeah, maybe I will Welder. Because I want to Welder, but at the same time, like... Okay, we do hit triple off of the Welder, that's good. So even if this Gastly gets knocked out and we get some Haunters into play, we have the triple to be able to use with a Gengar on the following turn. So I'm going to hold this Jirachi yet again, though. So we're just going to swing for 70 here. Start softening up this Mewtwo and Mew. So let's see what route they're going to go. They could just start swinging on our Hoopa if they want to. So we're going to get down Breshizard. Now, if they play any attackers that can heal, that would be problematic as well. I know the Altaria GX can with Euphoria GX. But here they're just going to Outrage. Okay, I'm actually fine with that. That's going to give us yet again another turn to get down some more damage here. I really just don't want to attach to this, well, if we actually swing with Gengar this turn, if we're able to, that's 140, 150 with Poison, plus this, well, actually, I think there is a case to be made here, so we're actually going to discard our own Giant Hearth here. If we can get Rare Candy, that will be pretty big, actually. So we're just going to do the one. Unfortunately, we did not really get what we wanted, though. Alright, so if that's the case, we're just going to have to... Evil Admonition. So that would have been a really huge tempo swing if we had hit the candy here. But nevertheless, we're still softening this thing up pretty good. We're starting to get in range where, like, even if they get down Jirachi GX, we can still take a knockout with Gengar. So we're going to see them Welder. So the question is, what are they going to attack us with? Are we going to see Haze Slash? we're going to see Euphoria GX. I think that's also a possibility, potentially. Or we could see Shadowy Hunter, or even Venom Shot on Naganadel. Okay, they're going to go for Bright Tone. Interesting, like, I'm curious what they're worried about us doing to them. So there is a world where if we... So here's what we are going to attempt to do. Or actually, you know what we should have done? I think I may have misplayed. Should have actually Giant Hearth away that energy attachment to thin some cards out of deck. So that's my bad on that one. So we're going to retreat. We have the switch in hand. If we hit rare candy or like a Lily or something. We do hit Lily. So what do we do? What do we do? Are we just like gonna go all in on this Ghastly? So I think I actually might do this one because if we whiff, we still get to keep our energy in play. So we'll do this. We're going to Giant Hearth. We're going to get rid of... Sure, we'll get rid of a triple. And can we get candy? We don't, so... Yeah, maybe we should have just kept attacking with the Hoopa there. So maybe we got a little bit greedy on that play. Definitely will get down the Mew. Mew's going to be really important here. So this is still fine because if they knock out our Ghastly, we can still get 2 Haunters down. Because like even if we had just gone in with Evil Admonition, I think maybe if this was like a real tournament, maybe I would have gone that route instead. Just because it was less risky because we would have hit for 70. And then I believe... And then Gengar's ability would allow it to pick off this Mewtwo Mew. But nevertheless, I still kind of like the spot that we're going to be in here. We have the Mew down. So unless our opponent's playing Espeon Deoxys, we don't have too much to really worry about. Because Espeon Deoxys can get through the Mew, which would be bad. But of course the Greninja and the Naganadel, all that cannot. So we'll have to see what they're going to get off Cherish Ball. Could get another Mewtwo Mew. Might get Jirachi. So they're going to go for Jirachi. I'm really not even too concerned about it at this point, though. It's definitely going to help them long term. Okay, but they do have another Cherish Ball. Okay, but I'll say if that was their only Cherish Ball for the turn, I wouldn't have liked that so much. But since they have the other Mewtwo Mew, I think that's fine. So let's see. Yeah, we actually don't even need to attack with Gengar next turn if we don't want to. So we're just going to see Haste Slash. And are they going to put the Mewtwo Mew back in? Yeah, it looks like that's what they're going to do. I mean, that's fine. That's wiping a bunch of energy off the board. And, okay, so... I think I'm actually fine just to attack with Hoopa here if we really want to. Because right now we're doing, was that 30, 50, 70, 90? Yeah, that works for me. So we'll do this. So we'll get Gengar into play here. Sure. So where do we want this? So let's say we're doing 90 right now. Was that right? On this, the Dene. So I think maybe our path to victory is maybe even Mewtwo Mew. Like one Mewtwo Mew, one Jirachi, and one Dedenne. So I think that's kind of where I want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of the damage on Jirachi. And yeah, we're going to Fire Crystal. Let's get those back. And we could evolve into the Haunter, but I really don't want to if possible. So like if we're evolving this Ghastly, I'd rather just Rare Candy it. So definitely happy to get Spell Tag down. It's going to protect that Gengar a little bit. So here we're just going to go for Evil Admonition, soften up this Dedenne. So we're going to have to be mindful of Euphoria GX, and also if they play Solgaleo GX, that is something we'll have to watch out for inevitably. But yeah, I think this is kind of our path to victory, since they can... It's going to be tough for us to knock out one Mewtwo Mew when they can just put it back in deck every time. So getting rid of Jirachi, I think it's going to be a big help with something like that. So what do they have in discard piles? They have Dragonite as well, not too great. But they have the Moltres Zapdos Articuno. What's its GX attack do? Okay, so it's another sniping attack. But yet again, we are going to prevent that. And just pass over to us, so I'm fine with that. So this is another reason why I wanted to put our damage counters on this Jirachi instead of the Dedenne, because if they didn't attack us, now we can just two-shot them without our ability damage counters being wasted. So, sure, I guess we can attach to Mew. I don't mind that too much. And, yeah, we're just going to go for Cynthia. Oof, unfortunately not a great hand, but we are going to get some prizes this turn at the very least. Just going to make things a little bit nicer for us. So what do we get here? We get Skateboard, that's definitely good. Our Jirachi has not been the most mobile this game. And Spell Tag, so that's good as well. We can throw that down Mew, or we can save it for another Ghastly. So yeah, I'd imagine we're probably going to start seeing like our opponent try to establish some sort of like Haze Slash loop over and over here. Just curious why they went with this one, just because they could just Outrage with... Well, I guess they would still want to attack with this one either way. That way they can Haze Slash after they get swung on. And we are going to see Custom Catcher, so they're going to go for Jirachi. They are going to go for Mew. That's actually pretty annoying. So the Mew is definitely going to be kind of a key card that I think we really needed in this matchup. But nevertheless, we're actually a little bit ahead on prizes, and the sleep is surprisingly good if we can manage to make our opponent flip tails. Nice. So we do get... Actually, just going to Star Wish here. Going to grab Lily. Our hand, unfortunately, isn't able to be played down too much. So, no matter what, we are going to attach here. Now, we could evolve directly into Gengar, but one thing I'm worried about is if we put damage counters here, our opponent uses the GX attack on Solgaleo, that would actually be pretty bad. So I actually kind of want to save our ability on Gengar for when we go for... But when we're actually going for the KO on the Jirachi specifically. So I think what I'm going to do here is put the Haunter back in deck. Going for another Ghastly. We're going to Giant Hearth. We're going to get rid of our own Giant Hearth. So our opponent's pretty much going to keep theirs and play all game, it seems like. And we're just going to go for a Lily here. Alright, so nothing too special there, but... just going to go for Twilight Poison, and hopefully we can get our opponent to flip tails. That'll be really big for us. And they do wake up, so that's definitely a little bit of a nuisance, but... if we can actually get Gengar on this next turn, then we might even be able to win, because we can actually use all of our spell tag damage here, then use Gengar's ability here, and then our Mewtwo, the Mewtwo Mew will be weak to us. Okay, so yeah, we are definitely going to do this. And that's a Haunter. It's really not exactly what we want to see. But let's see, how many energies have we gone through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I think we're going to get rid of a Fire Energy here. Ooh, that is pretty bad, actually. We do have Fire Crystal left in deck, and we still have triples. That's pretty bad. Maybe we should have gotten rid of Spell Tag, maybe? How many searching cards have we gone through? That's another thing we do need to be mindful of. Okay, only one communication, so we actually have pretty decent odds of hitting what we need to. Off of this Welder, and then off of Jirachi. So we'll get down Fire Energy there. And we do hit the Gengar. That's really, really big. So we can do... let's Stellar Wish really quick. We get Mysterious Treasure. I like that. And I think we actually just win here. Because we can go Rare Candy into Gengar. It's going to be busted. Alright, so yes, we do want to put those damage counters down. We want all this going down on Jirachi. Since Jirachi is the big thing that's really keeping us from doing that well right now. So, all 6, knock him out. That way we can now smack these Mewtwo Mews for weakness. Get Treasure. Switch, that's fine. And then we can go for Treasure yet again. For Gengar. Oh, and we get the victory screen. Man, I wish our opponent would have let us do the whole thing, but yeah. 5 prizes, 1 turn with Gengar. Awesome. So, guys, that is going to about wrap things up here for this spooky Gengar Halloween special that we had. You know, like I said at the beginning of the video, probably not a very competitive deck. It's definitely a lot of fun, though, especially if you want to take this to, like, just your locals or a league challenge or something, but probably not the best pick for, like, a regional or a league cup or something like that. But, you know, it's Gengar. It's Halloween. We have to have some fun here, especially since we never gave this Gengar any love, you know, in the past, back when it originally came out all the way in Unbroken Bonds. But yeah, that's going to be it for it. And like I said at the beginning of this video too, feel free to check out our newest sponsor, PTCGO If you guys use the coupon code RARECANDY, all one word, at checkout, you'll save 5% on your order. And our patrons will save an additional 2.5%. So they'll save 7.5% in total if you guys do want to go check that out as well. But if you did enjoy this video today, feel free to drop us a like and subscribe, and consider supporting us by becoming a patron, like I mentioned, over at patreon.com/rarecandytcg, or by picking up some merch from our online store, rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But with that being said, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.